All right. I recently just heard uh, the new Blink 182 album, California, and it's floating around YouTube. However, I did pre-order a copy, so I'm looking forward to getting that today in the mail or tomorrow. But I listened through all the tracks a couple of times, and I feel like I've digested it enough to make a review video. And I hope to make these a little bit more regular since I'm basically just applying for jobs and hanging out. So I guess I'll give you a little bit of history of my time with them. Um, I started listening to them around, let's say, 2007. I knew about them in 2005 after they had broken up because of their greatest hits album, although I didn't really check anything out until about 2008. I got their discography um, with pretty much everything from Buddha and the demo tapes to uh, the 2003 album. Um, and I would say that probably my favorite wasn't Enema of the State. It was that's one of their better albums without any question. But Take Off Your Pants and Jacket was probably my favorite album of theirs, and even some of the B sides on that album were, I think, could have been album tracks. Don't Tell Me It's Over. Um, what was that other one that I really liked? Um, Man, I'm blanking on what that song was, but it's a B side on the deluxe edition. Every song on that album is good, even the funny ones um, that they kind of came up with. Happy Holidays, uh, and so very good album. Probably my favorite Blink album um, ever. I thought the self-titled one was very good. I thought it was showing maturity and progression while keeping the sound fun and fresh. I think I might actually try to do a review of each Blink album separately, particularly from Enema of the State up. Those last three ones, I think I probably have the most to say. Not that Dude Ranch and Cheshire and Buddha were bad. Buddha was actually probably one of my favorite punk rock albums of the early 90s. Um, I mean, even though I just kind of found out about it recently, I could probably see myself being interested in it you know, back then. But anyway, California introduces Matt Skiba into the band for the first time. Um, and I gotta say, it's pretty good. It has a lot of energy. I think um, Matt Skiba kind of revived this band a little bit. Not that Neighborhoods and the Dogs Eating Dogs EP were bad, um, but I don't think it was what Blink was capable of putting out. And uh, a lot of problems with Tom DeLonge. I usually check out everything he puts out just to kind of check it out and see what because I like him as a musician. I don't think he's that the whole Blink drama behind I feel like every other week there's an article saying, oh, I still love Blink 182 and like all these different things, and now there's like rumors that he left because of just look into UFOs and things like that. But I mean, I feel like he's been holding this band back for a while. That this album probably should have come out in way before 2016. I mean, before. it's been 4 years since Blink 182's released anything after the Dogs Eating Dogs EP. And it was like, he was like, I can record, but I kind of can't record because I'm writing novels um, and everything like that. But, and I think it was really interesting, kind of breaking into the California album, that track Cynical. Mark Hoppus is talking about some of his feelings toward Tom DeLonge, and he sometimes he's like, I'm in, I'm not in, I'm in, um, and he quit the band for a second time, both from emails from his manager. So, all the Tom DeLonge fanboys out there, this is coming from somebody who does respect him as a musician. If somebody doesn't want to be in the band, then I don't I don't think they should be in the band. I mean, saying it's not Blink 182 without Tom DeLonge. I mean, I can see his influence on the early stages of the band, and a lot of their breakthrough albums in the early millennium. But if somebody doesn't want to be in a band, then the passion's not there for the music. I mean, he just didn't seem to care about Blink 182 and the live performances. He was hitting every other note was like a wrong note. Um, you know, and I think one of the shows he wore like an Angels and Airwaves shirt to the show. Um, I mean, it kind of gives off like I'm here, but I'm not really here, and I'm playing guitar, but yeah, I'm not really playing guitar, and and it's just amazing like how Angels and Airwaves sound so different, and how much of Blink was actually Tom DeLonge, and how much of it was actually Mark Hoppus kind of making them sound like that. I mean, you listen to California, you hear a Blink album that's reminiscent of their old sound. Um, and I mean, I love Matt Skiba's voice on some of these tracks. And I mean, the song "Not was it Left Alone? Actually, I think it's Left Alone. Towards the end of the album, probably my favorite song on the album. Amazing verses, amazing chorus. Everything about that song is great. Um, I really don't find myself skipping any of the tracks on this album. It's not it's it really has kind of a back to your roots Blink 182 feel. And instead of complaining about like, oh, it's not Blink without Tom, I mean, can we be grateful that all three of these people in this band are still making music? I mean, you know, Blink breaks up. Tom starts Angels and Airwaves and is like 6 albums in now, and they're just celebrating their 10-year anniversary. I think, or at least the 10-year anniversary of We Don't Need to Whisper, which is, I think, the best Angels and Airwaves album. But instead of complaining about them as people, let's just be grateful that they're still making music. I mean, California is I think a very noteworthy album, and I think a lot of the reviews that are kind of coming through about it, I think it's an either you love it or you hate it. I mean, but I mean, I think that it's really a good album, and I mean, it definitely has a lot of replay value. Some of the songs are kind of whatever. I mean, the only song I really haven't really gotten into that much is Sober. Um, I think every other song is fun. Even this, even the songs that are like 30 seconds long, like Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't think they should have ended on that song, but it's just kind of a fun little punk jam. Like, you know, um, there's something about her that I just can't put my finger in. I mean, that's just like that's fun. That's awesome. And I mean, I think there's a lot of more serious songs um, on this album. I mean, the closer, California, shows off a more vulnerable side to the new Blink incarnation with Matt Skiba. And I like how Mark kind of gave him the freedom to sing lead on many of these tracks. And I really can't understand the hate about this album. I think it's really good and just a fresh kind of new Blink sound that I think a lot of longtime fans will appreciate. And I'm not saying I was, you know, initially I wasn't that blown away by some of the tracks, but I've come around on a lot of them, and this album definitely has some good replay value to it. Um, and I think people should just stop. I feel like every time like a new album comes out, it's not even just Blink 182. There's always like people who say like, "Oh, man, I wish it was like their first album." I mean, bands can't make the same album 20 times, and if if they make a different, if they change their sound, everybody wants them to, go back to their original sound, and then if they don't change it, it's like that people say, oh, it's getting a little repetitive. They should really branch out. And I feel like so many people just say those same two things, and it's just so annoying. Um, I mean, listen to things for what they are, not what you think they should be. I mean, it's you know, if a band's progressing and trying out new ideas, I mean, if they're good new ideas, then you know, try to just be open minded to that. I mean, I'm gonna I think my next review will probably be Bring Me the Horizons. Um, that's the Spirit album, because there's a lot of mixed opinions on that album, but um, you know, that's another band that I feel like drastically kind of changed their sound, but it still works. And I don't think this Blink album is a drastic change in sound. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Tom DeLonge was the weak link in this band, kind of moving forward after they split the first time and they got back together. I mean, Neighborhoods has an Angels and Airwaves kind of feel to it, uh, for no reason. I mean, they recorded in different studios. I mean, he's constantly delaying. He was just constantly delaying things. And then Mark and Travis said, you know what? Let's move. We want to move forward as a band, and if you're going to hold us back, then we need to find somebody else. And they pulled in Matt, and I really think he's doing a good job. I mean, I've seen live performances. His singing is really good. Um, and I know people like the fact that Tom DeLonge couldn't sing, and that was one of the reasons why it was like fun. He sounded like a little kid. But I think Matt Skiba has like that kind of punky, like kind of kiddish like voice. I don't really see a problem with them wanting to take on a new member. I mean, I think he really saved this band, and gave them the ability to like write good, catchy, hooky songs again, and that's really evidenced on California. So I would say my overall review of this album is 9 out of 10. It's got some weaker moments, but I don't think that detracts from it being a good album. It's fun, it's fast, it's catchy. There's a lot of good hooks on it, and yeah. I mean, let me know what you think of California in the comments down below, and I'd love to definitely like hear some reactions, because I personally thought it was a great album and a welcomed addition to their discography. So yeah, check out my other videos if you want, and subscribe. Thanks.